So let's kind of get into some of the things that that and my people love as well. I seem to do videos and have, how to get people turned on, how to foreplay, all the things that they want to hear. Those seem to get the best views. So we'll give the audience. I'm like, come on, guys! I talk about all sorts of other things, but give the audience what they want to hear. So
Yep.
let's talk about, getting a woman turned on, the kind of igniting that arousal template. I talk a lot about on my channel, more than I'd like to admit, as far as foreplay, and how crucial it is for most women, and how it happens so much in the brain, and it happens so much before you even walk in the bedroom. And I know that's not how guys work. It's not fair. It sucks. I wish we could just turn it on. As a woman, sometimes I'm like, I just want to be as horny as you, but I'm just not. So how can we, bridge the gap? And what can guys do to kind of start to get the juices flowing, proverbially speaking?
Downstairs. Yeah, I'm personally a big proponent of what you would call cocketing. So,
Please explain.
Cocketing is what strippers do. Cocketing is sexualized push-pull.
Mhm.
So the idea, what the experience you would have if you went and got a lap dance at a stripper's is she can touch you, but you can't touch her. Right? She's grinding her butt on your crotch, putting her titties in your face, and you go to touch her thigh and you get your hand slapped away. So she can arouse you, but you can't express that. So it's again pushing and pulling in that regard.
Is that more of like a control thing? Do you think that that's her being in
It's
control?
partly a control thing, and it's partly basically just a teasing thing
Okay.
and a build up of that arousal, right? Because think about what is sexual tension. Sexual tension is like the unknown. Sexual tension is mystery. It's uncertainty. It's that anticipation of what's going to come. That is the foundation of sexual tension. If you know what's going to happen, then it's boring. If
Mm,
sex is predictable and boring, it isn't arousing
mm,
fundamentally. That's why you get dead bedrooms after long marriages, when they don't try to mix things up a little bit or try to keep them spicy. So back to the cocketing. So for me, I teach guys to start with the kiss. In my opinion, there's probably a million different things you could do to be a good kisser as a guy, and in my opinion, it's probably a bit hard to actually teach that. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how would I actually teach a guy like to do this with the tongue, do that with the lips, do this with whatever?
right.
Okay, you could get super autistic and technical about that, but the overarching principle that I would teach guys in terms of how to be a good kisser is to be when you have that first kiss with a woman, make sure that you, as the man, are the one that breaks it off and
Mm,
disengages first and
mhm,
leaves her wanting more, leaves her with that gap that she wants to jump into and fill again.
mhm. The only thing I would add to that is mirroring your partner, because a lot
Mm,
of people will, I've had kisses where they're not paying attention to how I'm responding. Right, like if you're sticking your tongue down my throat and I'm not returning the favor, that's probably not a style that I like, so my thing is just, it's what happens. I see a lot with guys is they get so wrapped up in their head and they get so consumed with trying to be performative. And if you're just relaxed and you take your time and you start to just mirror the person, start feeling like what they're doing, and that could be like slowing down a little bit. It seems to be it. But the bad kissing that I've had is that they're not paying attention to how I'm responding. They're just it's like full speed ahead. And
yeah,
they're not present with how my body is reacting to them.
totally. They're not present to your comfort level either.
Mm,
Because
mhm,
you have, like, the guy has okay, so the guy has to sort of lead and go first, I think, but he has to be paying attention, like you said, to your body language and to
mhm,
how comfortable you are in what he's physically doing to you, in order for him to lead you to, say, the next step, right, to
mhm,
escalate things in that direction. And so if he's trying to make out with you like a randy teenager, and you're still you would rather something a little bit softer and more sensual to start with, well, that's him just not completely ignoring your body language and trying to push you beyond your current comfort zone. Maybe eventually, like after a few minutes, maybe you will get to that horny randy teenager.
Yeah, like don't suck my tongue. I'm not ready for that yet. Like we are not there yet. Give me like 10 minutes. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, so that's him not paying attention to fundamentally to her body language and where her current comfort zone is. And I agree with you. Guys are in their head because they're trying to perform or because they're trying to get a certain specific outcome. And when this eventually leads to the bedroom, when it comes to the sexual act, him needing, for example, a man needing to make his partner climax, needing to make her come, that will lead to all sorts of problems for him and her in the bedroom. He'll put her in her head, make her feel sort of self-conscious, and put a lot of pressure on her to climax, to finish, which is definitely not gonna lead to her orgasming at all. Because she can't do that if she's stuck in her head and she's stressed out and she's
I almost want to spend like a whole, because I have some thoughts on that as far as like the performative action of it. So going back to the foreplay, like kissing, okay, like I'm feeling it, I'm into it. As far as, let me go back to kind of pre-foreplay. Are there messages? Are there things that you can send over text message? Is there kind of a way to, I know that with your married couples, they've been married for a long time. And it's like, if I, certain pictures with women, the D pics, they just like, come on, they just don't work. Right. So what are some of the things that you could potentially tell men, that some text messages or some things to kind of say, for example, I think I had, I think something like, I was cooking or something, and he said, I'm going to have you for dessert, or, just, it's like, okay, that's like, all right, maybe you will, maybe you won't, it's kind of, it was cute, but I thought that was very sweet, and it got me turned on.
It's funny you mentioned the dick pic thing. That is, Jesus Christ, guys. No, my penis is on the internet and I don't even send dick pics. Like, it's a professional one. I could send professionally taken ones and I don't even do it. So no, good Lord. Because she's got no connection, she's got no relationship to that penis. No. Anyway, something I've used for a long time is if I'm getting let's say there's some kind of banter back and forth, she's testing me, she's throwing out like a little jab, she's throwing me some shit my way, like a flirt or a tease or something like this. One of my favorite go-to lines has always been, "Clearly your last boyfriend didn't spank you enough." And that always seems to go down extremely well. I'm
blushing just thinking about it. Yes, that's adorable. Love it.
It paints this picture, I personally like to. For me, a lot of the things I will do in text is more. It's more based around like language and frames. The frame I'm setting between the two of us, because fundamentally, like I'm more of a dominant type, and I want my partner to fall into her feminine and submissive role. So for me, I will, it's little things, but before the date, I'm always going to tell her, okay, like, meet me here at this time, wear this, I'm going to order your food. Like, okay, it sounds it's really basic and simple, but that sets the frame of, I'm taking charge, I'm leading this interaction. Don't worry, daddy's going to take care of you. That's the underlying subtext. And I will always, if she, says something good or gives me an answer I like, or, responds in any positive way, I will always give her affirmation in the form of good girl. Because I personally think that women really enjoy being called a good girl. I've seen evidence that supports that.
They do.
And it puts her in this more of a submissive frame. It establishes the dynamic here pretty clearly off the bat. Like, I'm gonna take care of things so you can relax, but follow my lead as well.